Once I'm happy to see you again through this video. So last video la nama vandu income tax MCQ session. We had a session on income tax MCQ. So we were discussing some questions and we will discussing some more questions in this session. Okay, let us go into the session. So first question, LKG Limited started a new business on 1/4/2019 in a district in Maharashtra and purchased the following assets. New plant on 1/4/2019 was 3,50,000, for which 50,000 was paid in cash and the balance to NEFT. New plant on 31/5/2019 was rupees 2 lakhs, for which the payment was made through a cross check. A computer was purchased for the office worth rupees 60,000 on 24/7/2019, for which payment was made through NEFT. A second hand plant and machinery was purchased for rupees 5 lakh on 30/11/2019, for which payment was made through NEFT. And fifth, a bus was purchased for transport of employees for rupees 7 lakh on 15/12/2019, for which payment of rupees 1 lakh was made in cash and balance to NEFT. Calculate the depreciation allowable for assessment year 2021. So last நம்ம போன செஷன்ல இதே மாதிரி சம் பார்த்தோம். அத சொன்னேன், depreciation not only includes normal depreciation, it also takes into consideration additional depreciation. You have to take into consideration the additional depreciation also. Okay, so additional depreciation. So that's the first point. And second point, we have to see the state நம்ம நேத்தே பார்த்தோம், because ஒரு நாலு ஸ்டேட்டுக்கு மொத்தம் additional depreciation was 35%. That is Bihar, West Bengal, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So நம்மளுக்கு கொடுத்துருக்க சம்ல Maharashtra. So in Maharashtra it is 20%. Additional depreciation is 20%. And உங்களுக்கு எல்லா assetum what was the date of purchase is given. What is the date of purchase is also given. So based on that you have to select, you have to check whether you have to charge full depreciation or half depreciation. Okay, and something called as payment is made. Payment has been given. Payment has been given. Okay, so cash payment, cross check payment, NEFT payment. Okay, so all these payments have been given. Okay, so what is our question? What is our point? Our point is payment should not be made through cash. Payment should not be made through cash. Okay, and even in check it should be through a account pay check. Even through check it should be a account pay check. It should not be a bearer check or crossed check. That's our point. So if it is made in cash or if it is made through a crossed check or it's paid through a bearer check, அதெல்லாம் என்ன பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா, it should not be included in the cost of asset. It should not be included in the cost of asset. It should not be included in the cost of asset. Okay, we will see how we have to calculate. So first, normal depreciation and additional depreciation. Okay. And date of purchase and what is the value of asset. So we will have another column. Rate of depreciation. Okay, so first on 1/4/2019 an asset was purchased for which 3,50,000 a new plant and machinery and 50,000 was paid in cash. So this 50,000 does not form part of the cost of asset. So the cost of asset is 3 lakh for the purpose of calculating depreciation. For the purpose of calculating depreciation, the cost of asset is 3 lakh, and for plant and machinery we know it is 15%. And next one, another plant was purchased on 31/5/2000 and worth 2 lakh, for which payment was made to a cross check. So our condition is it should be through an account pay check. It should be through a account pay check or online payment like NEFT. Okay, it should be through an account pay check. Okay, so since it is made through a cross check, this also do not form a cost of asset. We cannot claim depreciation on this entire 2 lakhs. We cannot claim depreciation on this entire 2 lakhs. Okay, so it's not, does not form part of our block of assets. Okay, our next is computer was purchased on 27/4. So on 24/7/2019 a computer was purchased, and for computer it is 60,000 and the rate of depreciation is 40%. Okay, and next a second hand plant was purchased. So second hand plant and other we have to careful, because on depreciation, for depreciation purpose second hand plant cannot be claimed. For depreciation, for additional depreciation செகண்ட் ஹேண்ட் பிளான்ட்டுக்கு வந்து என்னது அடிஷனல் டிப்ரிசியேஷன் கிளைம் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஃபார் செகண்ட் ஹேண்ட் பிளான் அடிஷனல் டிப்ரிசியேஷன் என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது, கிளைம் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஓகே, ஸோ we have to be careful. We have to be careful. On 30/11/2019, 5 lakhs. 5 lakh. So 5 lakhs for it. Since it is also a plant, for plant the same rate is 15%. For the plant also the rate of tax is 15%. Okay. And next another asset, fifth asset is bus was purchased. Bus was purchased. So bus, it is for also 1 lakh was paid to cash. 1 lakh was paid to cash. So it does not form the part of cost of asset. So the balance 6 lakh alone will form a part of cost of asset. Okay. So on 15/12/2019, bus and its cost is 6 lakh. And for bus the rate of tax is 30%. And for bus the rate of tax is 30%. 30%. Okay. So additional depreciation for second hand plant, there is no additional depreciation. For second hand plant we cannot claim any additional depreciation. And in case the asset is installed in the office premises, in case the asset is installed in the office premises, we cannot claim additional depreciation. We cannot claim additional depreciation. And additional depreciation is also not allowed on this motor vehicles. Additional depreciation is also not allowed on this motor vehicle. So for bus also we cannot claim additional depreciation. For bus also we cannot claim additional depreciation. So for computer, for the second hand plant and machinery and the bus, we cannot claim any additional depreciation. We can claim only the normal depreciation. We can claim only the normal depreciation. And for the first one alone we can claim additional depreciation. For first one alone we can claim the additional depreciation. Okay. So for these three, additional depreciation is 0. For these three, additional depreciation is 0. Okay, and coming to the number of days, 1/4, there is no issue. We can charge full depreciation. And for 24/7 also, there is no bar because there are around 8 months. So it is sure above 180 days. And for 30/11 and 15/12. And friends, be careful. If you have confusion, always check whether it is greater than 180 or not. Confusion ஓட போகாதீங்க. தயவு செஞ்சு என்ன பண்ணுங்க, be frank, calculate பண்ணுங்க. எத்தனை days இருக்குன்னு calculate பண்ணுங்க. No issue regarding that. Okay. So அப்போ வந்து என்னது, இந்த asset யூஸ் பண்ணி எவ்வளவு நாள் ஆகுது? It is 30/11. So in December it is 31, in January it is 31, and in February 2020 it is 29. And idhilum careful anga, February 2020 as 29 days, since it is a leap year. Okay. And in March it is 31, so total is, it is 122 days. So இதுக்கு வந்து 50% depreciation தான் charge பண்ணனும். 50% depreciation charge பண்ணனும். And for this also, since even 30/11 வந்து 50% தான், அப்ப 15/12 க்கு வந்து 50% தான் depreciation charge பண்ணனும். Okay. So for this it is 3 lakh into 15%, 45,000, and 3 lakhs into 20%. Additional depreciation எவ்வளவு? 20%. Additional depreciation 20%. Okay. And next asset, computer 40% we can claim full. And in case of this plan, only 50% of the depreciation can be claimed. And regarding this also, only 50% of the depreciation alone can be claimed. Okay. So my normal depreciation is 45,000 plus 24,000 plus 37,500 plus 90,000, which is 1,96,500 plus this 60,000 additional depreciation. So my total depreciation is 2,56,500. So my total depreciation is 2,56,500. 2,56,500. So the option B is correct answer. So நம்ம நேத்து depreciation பார்த்தோம். depreciation வந்தாலே ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கறது, it is not only normal depreciation, it also includes additional depreciation. So additional depreciation வரப்ப state name carefully பார்க்கணும். additional depreciation வரப்ப state name carefully பார்க்கணும். And next வந்து என்ன வரும், date எல்லாமே carefully பார்க்கணும் for check whether it is off rate or full rate. Okay. So இங்க நம்ம என்ன learn பண்ணிருக்கோம், if the payment is made to cash or bearer check or account pay, or crossed check, even crossed check ஆனாலும் அதை வந்து என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது, cost of assetல add பண்ணக்கூடாது. Only if it is to online payment or if it is to account pay check, we can add it to the cost of asset. Even remember, crossed check also will not come into account. Okay. So அப்போ வந்து crossed check bearer check or cash in கொடுத்திருந்தாங்கன்னா இத மூணே வந்து என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது காஸ்ட்ல ஆட் பண்ணக்கூடாது இத மூணே வந்து என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது காஸ்ட்ல ஆட் பண்ணக்கூடாது based on that we have to calculate and additional depreciation if it is installed in the office we cannot claim additional depreciation if it is a second hand machinery we cannot claim additional depreciation and if it is a motor vehicle we cannot claim additional depreciation okay and be sure motor vehicle what is the rate of depreciation it is 30%. It is 30%. Okay, because it is new amendment. You have to be so careful. You have to be so careful. Okay. And motor vehicle, if it is used for transport of goods or if it is used by business, if it is used for business which is involved in transport of passenger, the rate of depreciation is 45%. So, we are not involving in business of transport of goods or passengers. So, the rate of depreciation is 30%. Okay. So answer is option B 2,56,500. Okay. My next question. Gauti and Company made payment of rupees 7,80,000 to Upload Institute on 9/7/2019 which undertook statistical research. On 9/9/2019 the upload of the institution was withdrawn. Amount of deduction eligible for deduction under section 35. So section 35 la if you are making payment to additional approved institution research institution which has undertaken statistical research we can claim weighted deduction of 100%. We can claim weighted deduction of 100%, whereas in case it has done scientific research we can claim a weighted deduction of 150%. So namalku inga vandu statistical deduction na, so we can claim 100%. Okay, so adala vandu 7,80,000 we can claim 7,80,000 full. And inga vandu innonu enna kuduthirukanga, we have contributed on July, we have contributed in July. It is an approved association institution, but in September what has happened, it has lost its approval. Okay, the government has ignored, it has withdrawn the approval. It does not matter for claiming the deduction, because on the date of when we have made payment, we have received service, it is an approved institution, so we can claim deduction of 100%, which is 7,80,000. So correct answer is option B 7,80,000. Okay. And next question, Arav Limited made the following contribution for scientific research. IIT rupees 10 lakh, Aryabhatta Research Institution and approved institution rupees 5 lakh, Leo Limited and approved Indian company involved in research rupees 4 lakh. Calculate the total deduction allowable under section 35. So under section 35 scientific research panna we can claim deduction. If it is to a approved research institution we can claim 150%. If it is to IIT or national laboratory we can claim weighted deduction of 150%. If it is to a Indian company approved for research purpose we can claim 100%. Under company, so Indian company ki panna mattumna 100%. Other cases and all we can claim 150% if the research is for scientific purpose. So nama question la vandu IIT 150% and approved research institution it is also 150% and approved Indian company for that 100%. Okay, so the total deduction will be so IIT 10 lakhs. So for IIT I can claim 150% and one Aryabhatta institution. For Aryabhatta institution I have contributed 5 lakh. For that also I can claim 150%. And Leo Limited is an Indian company. For that I can claim, for that I have contributed 4 lakh. For that I can claim 100%. So my total deduction is into 150%, which is 7,50,000, and 4 lakh into 100%, which is 4 lakh. Okay, so my total deduction allowable under section 35 is 26,50,000. So my option is option D. So my answer is option D 26,50,000. So option D 26,50,000 is the correct answer. So next question, Gangadharan Limited started manufacturing business on 1/4/2019. It undertook research for the development of business from 1/5/2019. It incurred capital expenses of rupees 20 lakh for research purpose. The capital expense included rupees 4 lakh for land and rupees 3 lakh for building. Further, it paid towards revenue expenses related to research amounting to 5 lakhs. The total amount of eligible for deduction. Okay, so it's a in-house research. It is a in-house research. I have started a business and I am doing some research. So if I am doing some research, I can claim weighted deduction. Even if I am doing in-house research. Okay. So I claim in case if it is a capital asset. So capital asset they have classified into two. In case if you are land, we cannot claim any deduction. In case if you are invested in building, you can claim 100% deduction. In case you have invested in other asset, you can claim 150% deduction. Okay, and all revenue expenses you can claim 150% deduction. In case you have started the research after the commencement of business. So நம்ம கொடுத்த क्वेश्चनல வந்து 1/4 ல business ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கேன், 1/5 ல தான் என்ன பண்ணிருக்கேன் research ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்கேன். So it is after the commencement of business now. Okay, so அப்ப நம்ம பார்த்தோம் அப்படினா first capital, we will deal with capital, all capital assets. So land, building and the others and revenue. So land, we have invested 4 lakhs in land. And in building we have invested 3 lakhs. And in other assets my total investment is 20 lakhs, in which 4 lakh is for land and 3 lakh is for building. So balance 13 lakh is on other current asset. 13 lakh is on other capital asset. And revenue expenses I have incurred 5 lakhs. For revenue expenses I have incurred 5 lakhs. Okay, so land 0 deduction, and in building 100% deduction, in other capital asset 150% deduction, and in revenue expenses 150% deductions. Okay, revenue expenses 150% deduction. Okay, so it is 0, and in this case it is 3 lakhs, and in this case it is 13 lakh into 150%, which is 19 lakh 50,000, and in this case it is 5 lakh into 150%, which is 7 lakh 50,000. So my total eligible deduction is 3 lakh plus 19 lakh 50,000 plus 7 lakh 50,000. 19 lakh 50,000 plus 7 lakh 50,000. So 30 lakhs. So I can claim 30 lakhs. I can claim 30 lakhs under this section. I can claim 30 lakhs under this section. Okay. So my answer is option B, 30 lakhs. Okay. So next question. Aradhana Limited started a business on 1/4/2019. However, it was undergoing a research process since 1/4/2017. During the research cycle, it incurred capital expenses of rupees 10 lakh, including land of rupees 3 lakh. It includes material and salary expenses of rupees 4 lakh, and is also incurred in other expenses worth rupees 1 lakh. The total amount of eligible for deduction under section 35. So section 35, last time it was research after commencement of business. Adha vandu 1/4/2019 la vandu business ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க, 1/5/2019 la research ஆரம்பிச்சாங்க. But in this case 1/4/2019 la business ஆரம்பிக்கிறாங்க. But ana research மொத்தம் எப்ப பண்ணிட்டோம், 2017 la பண்ணிட்டோம். So our condition is the research should be within 3 years before the commencement of business. So our commencement of business is 1/4/2019. So அப்ப வந்து நம்ம 1/4/2017 la ஆரம்பிச்சோம். That is 2 years before the commencement of business. We have started. In case the research is before the commencement of business, our weighted deduction வந்து என்னது, land, capital asset. திரும்பி capital asset வந்து here we are classifying into two, land and other asset. In case we have invested in land, the deduction is 0, and we have invested in other asset, we can claim 100% deduction. Okay, and revenue expenses, even in revenue expenses we are classifying into two. One is salary and material. If you are invested in salary and material, I can claim 100% deduction. If I invested in other revenue expenses, I cannot claim any deduction. Okay, so we will go into the sum. So capital, so what is my capital? Land, others, and revenue expenses, salary or material, and others. Salary and material. Okay, so land, I have invested 3 lakhs in land. I have invested 3 lakhs in land, and another capital asset I have invested 7 lakh. Another capital asset I have invested 7 lakh. Okay, in revenue purpose, in material and salary I have expended 4 lakhs. In other expenses I have invested 1 lakh. Okay, so land there is no deduction. For other capital asset I can claim 100% deduction, and in salary and material I can claim 100% deduction, and in other revenue expense I cannot claim any deduction. So this is 0, and this is also 0. So 7 lakh into 100%, same 7 lakh, and 4 lakh into 100%, same 4 lakh. So totally I can claim 4 lakh plus 7 lakh, 11 lakh. So totally I can claim 11 lakh deduction. 11 lakh deduction. So the answer is option C. So answer is option C. So upon the research, if it is done before the commencement of business, in the weighted deduction maximum 100%. Maximum 100%. We cannot claim any 150%. If the research is before commencement of business, before the commencement of business. Okay. So answer is option C, 11 lakh. Option C, 11 lakh. And next question, Baby Limited is engaged in biotechnology industry. It underwent the research. In the research, it purchased a land worth rupees 15 lakh. The amount eligible for deduction is option A 15 lakhs, option B 22 lakh 50,000, option C 30 lakhs, and option D nil. Okay, so namalke first theriyum namalke enna business biotechnology business and approved business. Okay, so research whether it is before commencement of business or after commencement of business, land is disallowed. Land expenses we cannot claim. Land expenses we cannot claim. So entire 15 lakhs we cannot claim. So the amount eligible for deduction is 0. So the amount eligible for deduction is 0. So the answer is option C. So land, whether before commencement or after commencement, whatever might be, it is 0. We cannot claim any deduction for land. Okay. So answer is option D, nil. Option D, nil. Okay. So next question. Mr. Balaya is engaged in setting up and operating warehouse for sugar. It purchased land of rupees 10 lakh, machinery of rupees 5 lakh, salary to employees rupees 2 lakh. It also invested in mutual funds of rupees 2 lakhs. Mutual fund of rupees 2 lakh. Expenditure to be allowed under section 35AD. Okay. So 35AD, some specified business, there are some list of specified business, and a specified business pannanga, we can claim the capital expenditure also. We can claim the capital expenditure also. Even in capital expenditure, 3 capital expenditure are disallowed. One is investment in land. Okay. And second one is investment in financial instruments like shares, debentures, mutual funds. Okay. And next, goodwill purchase. So land, goodwill, and financial instruments. The more purchase panna, I cannot claim deduction. I cannot claim any deduction for specified business also. Okay. So I have purchased land of 10 lakh. So this 10 lakh I cannot claim. This 10 lakh I cannot claim. And machinery of rupees 5 lakh. This I can claim. And salary to employees, it's a revenue expense, so I can claim. And it's investment in mutual fund. So mutual fund is a financial instrument, so I cannot claim this 2 lakh. So the land 10 lakh and mutual fund 2 lakh is not eligible. So the balance machinery 5 lakh and salary 2 lakh I can claim. So I can claim 7 lakh. So my answer is 7 lakh. So my answer is option A, 7 lakh. Okay. So அப்ப இங்கே வந்து land வந்து பார்த்தோம் நம்ம ரிசர்ச்லயும் before commencement of business, after commencement of business land claim பண்ண முடியாது. Specified business என்ன பண்ண முடியாது, land claim பண்ண முடியாது. Okay. So next question. Big Boss Limited is engaged in specified business under section 35AD. It incurred expenditure for financial year 1920 for purchase of goodwill rupees 5 lakh, purchase furniture for rupees 60,000, for which rupees 20,000 is paid by cash on 8/7/2019 and rupees 40,000 by bearer check on 9/7/2019. The total amount of depreciation under section 35AD is 5,60,000, 40,000, 60,000 and nil. Okay, so நம்ம போனல பார்த்தோம் 3 capital asset is not eligible for deduction for specified business also. One is land, goodwill and financial instruments. So இங்க வந்து goodwill purchase பண்ணிருக்காங்க. So this is not eligible. The 5 lakh is not eligible. Purchase of furniture is eligible, but இன்னொன்னு furniture should be paid in mode of other than cash or bearer check or crossed check. So the payment should be made either through account pay check or online. So நமக்கு வந்து என்ன கொடுத்தாங்க 60,000 purchase வாங்கிருக்காங்க, பட் ஆனா purchase and furnitureக்கு வந்து எவ்வளவு 20,000 cash கொடுத்தாங்க. So 10,000 மேல cash கொடுத்தாலே disallowed பண்ணிடணும். So this 20,000 is cannot be included in the cost of asset. and 40,000 by bearer check. So 40,000 என்ன பண்ண முடியாது check கூடாது, because bearer check and cost check does not come under the category of check for this direction வந்து அதெல்லாம் நம்ம கன்சிடர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஸோ 20,000 கன்சிடர் பண்ணக்கூடாது, 40,000 கன்சிடர் பண்ணக்கூடாது. If it is made through an account pay check or online payment or easier something, we can claim. Since it is made through a bearer check, we cannot claim this 40,000 also. So my total deduction is nil, because goodwill is ineligible asset, and for furniture the payment is made in, it's not made in the prescribed mode. It is not made in the prescribed mode, so this 60,000 cannot also be claimed. So my total deduction is nil. I cannot claim any deduction. Okay. So answer is option D, nil. Option D, nil. Okay. And next, David Cameron started a specified business on 1/4/2015. He invested in plant for rupees 7 lakh. On 1/4/2019, he closed a specified business and started a non-specified business. He continued to use the plant in his non-specified business. What is the cost of asset for the non-specified business? Option A, nil. Option B, 7 lakh. Option C, 3,50,000. Option D, 7 lakh less notional depreciation. Okay, so specified business and non-specified business. Specified business, so the section 35 area we have some list of specified business. So if we have invested in that specified business, namalku enna deduction unda, namalku vandu enadhu, and the capital asset la nama enna invest pannalum, we can claim the entire deduction in the first year itself. In case nama vandu enna pantom 8 years kulla vandu enna pannala, and the business vandu close pannite enna pantom specified business, that is non-specified business ku transfer pandrom appadina, non-specified business la vandu enadhu full deduction is not allowed. Non-specified la vandu enadhu full deduction is not allowed. Okay, so appo vandu adukku vandu depreciation na claim panna mudiyum, so the asset comes into place in the non-specified business. Non-specified business la vandu enadhu varum, so asset oda value vandu enadhu 7 lakh. The cost of asset is 7 lakh. When invest enadhu normal specified business la vandu அது இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்றப்ப the cost is 7 lakh. Now it is non-specified business. So இங்க cost ன்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா it is 7 lakh minus notional depreciation, because நம்ம வந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்க மாட்டோம், depreciation claim பண்ணிருக்க மாட்டோம். specified businessல இன்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணோம்னா first yearே நம்ம என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம், full capital asset ஓட deduction claim பண்ணிருப்போம். So my asset oda value becomes 0. So we will not be claiming direct depreciation under specified business. Specified business la enna panikka matom, depreciation claim panikka matom. Ipo nama non-specified business ku varappa we have to claim depreciation. So depreciation claim pandromna asset ku oru cost irukum. So asset cost enna, cost of asset on the date of purchase, that is 7 lakh minus notional depreciation, imaginary depreciation. If we have been using it for the 4 years, so for 4 years what is the depreciation calculate pannu. So I have to less my notional depreciation from the cost of asset. So the answer is option D, 7 lakh minus notional depreciation. Option D is the correct answer. Okay, so we move on to next question. Rohit and Company, an eligible startup incorporated on 4/7/2019, and it engaged in production of fertilizer and it engaged in business of production of fertilizer. Turnover in financial year 2019-20 is 5 crore. It purchased new machine for 10 lakhs and bonds of rupees 5 lakh. The profit for the business. Okay, so profit for the business before claiming deduction. So claiming deduction, my net profit is 78 lakh. That is, I have not claimed deduction under section 35 AD. So before claiming deduction under section 35 AD, my profit is 7 lakh. Profit before deduction under section 35 AD is 78 lakhs. So less deduction. So what are the deduction? Capital, whatever we have made in capital investment, we can deduct, we can claim deduction. Okay, so alle moonu edu claim panna mudiyadhu. One is goodwill, land and financial instruments. Okay, so machinery we can claim, and bond is a financial instrument, we cannot claim. So bond is a financial instrument, we cannot claim. So we cannot claim this 5 lakh. We can claim the investment in machinery 10 lakhs. So we can claim 10 lakhs. We can claim 10 lakhs. So my total profit after deduction is 68 lakh. My total profit after deduction, my total income after claiming deduction is option B, 68 lakhs. Option B is the correct answer. Rana Limited built two hospitals, one in Chennai and one in Mumbai, which consists of 200 beds and 80 beds respectively. It incurred capital expense of rupees 12 lakh and 6 lakh for building the hospitals in Chennai and Mumbai respectively. Total amount of deduction under section 35A. Okay, so we have two hospitals, and the business one in Mumbai, another in Chennai. Okay, so Mumbai hospital consists of 80 beds and Chennai hospital consists of 200 beds. So nammala pothareki hospital business should have 100 beds, should have minimum 100 beds, so that it comes under the category of specified business. 100 beds is not a specified category, specified business category la varum. So Chennai hospital 200 beds, so it's not a problem, it comes under the category. But Mumbai hospital just 80 beds, so it does not come under the category of 35 AD, that is specified business. So our specified business irundha mattum capital expenses la deduction claim panna mudiyum. In case if it is not a specified business, I cannot claim a capital expenditure. So upon Chennai hospital capital expenses 12 lakhs, Mumbai ki 6 lakh. So Mumbai is not a specified business. Mumbai is not a specified business. So I cannot claim this 6 lakh. I cannot claim this 6 lakh. Only a 12 lakhs can be claimed because Chennai is alone a specified business. Chennai is alone a specified business. Mumbai is not a specified business. Okay. So be careful. Question level sometimes it might not be a specified business. Specified business is illama irukum. Adu capital expenditure la kuduthu 35 AD evlo calculate panna solluvaanga. And if I am doing two business, rendu business pandren, one is a specified, one might be specified and one might be non-specified. ரெண்டுமே ஸ்பெசிஃபைடுன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, or ரெண்டுமே நான் ஸ்பெசிஃபைட் ஆகாது. One is specified and one is non-specified இருக்கலாம். Okay, so in the question la one is specified and another is non-specified. So I can claim 12 lakhs. So my answer is option C, 12 lakhs. Option C, I can claim 12 lakhs under section 35A. Option C, 12 lakhs is the correct answer. Okay. And next question, following payments are made by Mr. Anjan, a resident individual whose turnover during the year ended 31/3/2019 was rupees 99 lakhs. Interest of rupees 12,000 was paid to a resident partnership firm without deduction of tax. Rupees 3 lakh was paid as salary to resident without deduction of tax. Commission of rupees 60,000 was paid to Vidyasagar without deduction of tax. My disallowance under disallowance under section 40A1 is, so disallowance under section 40A1 நம்ம நேத்தே பார்த்தோம் என்னது, if TDS has not been deducted, TDS direct பண்ணல அப்படினா அந்த பேமெண்ட்ல இருந்து 30% should be disallowed, 30% disallowed. So இன்னும் நம்ம பார்த்தோம் இந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல TDS இருக்கான்னு சொல்லி நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்ட் செக் பண்ணணும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் என்னது, TDS applicable ஆன்னு செக் பண்ணனும், அதுக்கு அப்புறம் disallowா இல்லன்னு சொல்லி பார்க்கணும். So இந்த மூணுமே என்னது, TDS பிடிக்கல, மூணுமே வந்து TDS பிடிக்கல. So interest who is eligible to deduct interest, TDS எப்ப TDS deduct பண்ணனும், in case I am making interest, if my turnover is above, if I am subject to tax audit, if I am individual, if I am subject to tax audit, I have to deduct tax. So I am subject to tax audit na eppadi, if my turnover is above 2 crores, so okay, so அப்ப வந்து என்னது 2 crores கீழ தான் இருக்கு. So அப்ப வந்து என்னது, எனக்கு வந்து என்னது இதுவே கிடையாது, tax audit கிடையாது. So அப்ப I need not deduct tax if I am making payment of interest. If I am making payment of interest, I am not liable to deduct tax. So அப்ப 12,000 என்னது tax deduct பண்ண தேவையில்லை. அதே மாதிரி தான் கமிஷனும் ஒரு tax audit applicable ஆனா தான் TDS பிடிக்கணும். So அப்ப கமிஷனுக்கு வந்து என்னது, TDS I am not liable to deduct any tax. For interest and commission, I am not liable to deduct tax since I am not covered under tax audit. An individual who is not covered under tax audit need not deduct tax on interest payment and commission payment. Okay, if I am not covered under tax audit, interest payment and commission payment க்கு என்னது TDS பிடிக்க தேவையில்லை, tax பிடிக்க தேவையில்லை. Okay, whereas in case of salary, there is no restriction of tax audit. Any individual who is paying salary, if it exceeds the exemption limit, 2,50,000 தான் நம்மளோட exemption limit. So நான் 3 lakh pay பண்றேன் ஒரு பர்சனுக்கு, so it exceeds the exemption limit. So அப்ப வந்து என்னது, சாலரிக்கு பிடிச்சாகணும், சாலரிக்கு there is no restriction of tax audit. Salary any person, okay. So அப்ப வந்து என்னது, only salary payment should be disallowed to the extent of 30%. So 3 lakh into 30%, 90,000. 3 lakh into 30%, 90,000 is my disallowance. So option A, 90,000 is the ஸோ அப்போ நம்ம இந்த செக்ஷன் கேட்டாங்க அப்படின்னா நம்ம எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம டிடிஎஸ் வந்து டிசலோவ் பண்ண அவசியம் இல்லை. வி ஹேவ் டு செக் வெதர் ஐ ஆம் லயபிள். ஸோ ரெண்டு சிச்சுவேஷன் நம்ம லாஸ்ட்டில் பார்த்ததுல வந்து த்ரெஷ்ஹோல்ட் லிமிட் கம்மியாக இருந்துச்சு, அதனால டேக்ஸ் பிடிக்க தேவையில்ல. இங்கே வந்து the individual is not liable to deduct tax since he is not covered under tax audit. So individual are achieved if you are not covered under tax audit, you need not deduct tax on interest payment and commission payment. Okay, even if it is more than the threshold limit. Mr. Binny made the following payments in cash. Payment made to Mr. Stewart, residing in a village of rupees 25,000 where there is no bank. Office expenses of rupees 9,000 to Mr. Shastri. Paid salary to rupees 40,000 to Mr. Christine. Posted for a temporary period for rupees 25 days at any other place. Paid rupees 12,000 as office expenses. The allowable expenses. So be careful. இங்க வந்து the allowable expense கேட்குறாங்க. So நம்ம disallowable சொல்லிட்டு அதை மட்டும் பார்க்க கூடாது. So allowable expense எவ்வளவு கேட்குறாங்க. So நம்ம கண்டிஷன் படி என்னது 10,000 மேலே கேஷ் பேமெண்ட் பண்ணா it should be disallowed. 10,000 மேலே கேஷ் பேமெண்ட் பண்ணா disallowed. So அதில் வந்து நிறைய எக்ஸாம்ஷன்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு. நான் bank is strike, I have to make payment, I can make with cash. If I am making to a transport agent, the limit is 35,000. Transport company பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா the limit is 35,000. I am making to a place where there is no bank, there is no limit. If I am making payment for purchase of agricultural products, making for purchase of fish, there is no limit. And if I am making payment to a person who is employed in temporarily for a place, ஒரு பிளேஸ்ல வந்து டெம்பரரியா ஒரு பிளேஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன், and the placement is for at least 15 days டெம்பரரியா தான் பிளேஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கேன் அப்படின்னா அப்பே வந்து there is no limit for cash payment. Okay, so நம்ம கொஸ்டின்ல வந்து என்னது ஸ்டூவர்ட்க்கு வந்து என்னது village where there is no bank இல்ல, so this is allowable. bank இல்ல, so எவ்வளோ payment, whatever might be the cash payment, the entire payment is an allowable expense. Okay, and office expenses 9,000 the cash payment, so which is below the limit, so this is also an allowable. And paid to salary to Mr. Christine, posted for temporary period, so temporary ஒரு பிளேஸ்ல அவர் போஸ்ட் பண்ணிருக்கோம், அவருக்கு cash payment கொடுக்கிறோம். So அதுவும் வந்து allowable since it is a temporary payment, the entire 40,000 is allowable. And paid 12,000 the office expenses காண்டி 12,000 பண்ணிருக்கோம். This exceeds the limit of 10,000, so this is disallowed. This 12,000 is disallowed. So my allowable expenses 25,000 is allowable, 9,000 is allowable, and 40,000 is allowable. So total is 25,000 plus 9,000, which is 34,000 and 40,000. So the total allowable expenses 74,000. 25,000 plus 9,000 plus 40,000, which is 74,000 is allowable. 74,000 is allowable. Option B is the correct answer. Okay. Next, KL Limited paid rupees 80,000 as technical fees to Rahul. Rahul is one of the sons of Mr. Lokesh, the director of the company. The value of such service if received from outside would be rupees 60,000. The disallowable amount is. So நம்ம வந்து section 40B ல வந்து என்ன சொல்லிருக்கான், if I am making payment to a relative and the payment is in excess of the normal amount, the excess amount is disallowable. So Rahul is a son of director, so he is a relative as per the definition. So he is a relative. So in case அவருக்கு வந்து எவ்வளவு கொடுத்துருக்கோம் 80,000, we are paying 80,000. But if the service is received from outside, we will be paying only 60,000. So I am paying excess amount to a relative. So the excess amount should be disallowed. Only the excess amount, not the entire amount. So the excess amount is 20,000. The excess amount is 20,000. So 60,000 தான் வெளியில ராகுல் வந்து டைரக்டரோட சன்னால அவருக்கு 80,000 கொடுத்துருக்கோம். So the disallowed amount is 20,000. So answer is option C. 20,000 is the correct answer. 20,000 is the excess amount and it should be disallowed. Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. People Limited, which follows accrual basis of accounting, had to pay rupees 50,000 and 40,000 towards employees' contribution for February and March 2020. It paid a February dues on 29/2020 and March dues on 15/10/2020. So the due date for filing the return of income is 39/2020. What would be the treatment of the expense? So in section 43B ல வந்து என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, even if I am following accrual basis of accounting, if such expenses are not paid before the payment of before the due date of filing return. Before the due date of filing return, that expense should be disallowed. That expense should be disallowed. Okay, so அப்போ வந்து என்னது, if I'm having an expense and அந்த expense வந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்கணும், return file பண்றதுக்குள்ள என்ன பண்ணிருக்கணும், pay பண்ணிருக்கணும். If I'm not paid, that expense will be disallowed. So எல்லா expense cover ஆகாது, like something like bonus, commission, bank interest and ESI PF. So these should be paid before the due date of filing return. So in our question, so இதுல வந்து extension, இதுல ஒரு extension இருக்கு, என்னது 43. அப்போ வந்து என்ன பண்ணுவோம், நம்ம இந்த வருஷம் I will be disallowing, இந்த வருஷம் this year I will be disallowing, whereas the payment will be made after the due date. After the due date I will be making the payment. In that case, the payment which is made after the due date should be claimed in the subsequent assessment year. Okay, so in the question la paapom nama 50,000 40,000 PF payment namakku pending irukku March and February. So in a due date of filing return 39. Okay, so suppose your dues on enna ketite 29, that is within the due date ketite, whereas March oda dues eppa ketren 15/10 na ketren. So this is after the due date of filing return. So this 50,000 should be, sorry, this 40,000, that is March month dues 40,000 should be disallowed. March month due 40,000 should be disallowed, but this payment has been made after due date. So after due date ketranga, that is 15/10 ketranga. So appo இந்த 40,000 என்ன பண்ணனும் அப்படினா, இந்த assessment year la disallow பண்ணிட்டு next assessment year la we can claim this 40,000 in the next assessment year. Okay, next assessment year la we can claim. So அப்போ வந்து என்னது answer என்னது, option C la வந்து என்னது rupees 50,000 allowable, only 50,000 is allowable because 50,000 is current year 50,000 is February month due da வந்து என்னது due date குள்ள கட்டிட்டேன். So அதனால this is allowable during this assessment, that is 2021. Whereas this 40,000 is paid after the due date. So this 40,000 can be claimed in the next assessment year. This 40,000 can be claimed in the next assessment year, which is 2021. So if it is paid after the due date, enna panniyala next assessment year la claim pannikalam. This assessment year it should be disallowed, and the next assessment year we can be claimed. So answer is option C, rupees 50,000 allowable in assessment year 2021 and rupees 40,000 allowable in assessment year 21-22. So answer is option C. So Shrimati Limited follows mercantile system of accounting and therefore made a provision of rupees 1,50,000 as gratuity and debited to P&L. What will be the treatment of rupees 1,50,000? So gratuity options are option A no treatment, option B add back to P&L rupees 1,50,000, debit to P&L rupees 75,000, add back rupees 75,000. So inge vandu enadhu as per 40 inge vandu enadhu section 48(7) la vandu enna sollirukanga, even if I am following accrual basis or mercantile system of accounting follow pannalum, gratuity is allowed only on payment basis. So for gratuity the full amount is disallowed. So I have to add back this 1,50,000 to the P&L. So my answer is option B, add back to P&L rupees 1,50,000. Rupees 1,50,000. Okay. So option B is the correct answer. So Ashita, a partnership firm, paid the following remuneration. Remuneration to non-working partner rupees 2 lakh. Remuneration to one working partner from 1/4/2019 to 31/3/2020 rupees 5,40,000. Remuneration to another working partner from 1/4/2019 to 31/3/2020 2,50,000. Interest to partners at 15% for 1920 as authorized in the deed rupees 3,50,000. Partnership deed was executed on 1/8/2019. Book profit is 9 lakh. Deduction under PGBPS. Rupees 6,92,500. Rupees 13,40,000. Rupees 9,90,000. Rupees 9 lakh. Okay. So partners can pay panda salary and interest. So first the payment should be authorized in the deed. So payment authorized ஆயிருக்கணும். Deed authorized ஆயிருக்கணும். Okay. And payment should be only for remuneration. So remuneration should be only for working partner. It should not be paid to non-working partner. It should not be paid to non-working partner. Non-working partner பண்ணோம்னா இதெல்லாம் allow பண்ண கூடாது. Non-working partnerக்கு allow பண்ண கூடாது. Okay? And interest, it should not exceed 12%. And interest, it should not exceed 12%. Okay? Interest should not exceed 12%. So 15% கேட்டிருக்காங்க, it should not exceed 12%. And the payment, if deed on another part, I have started my partnership business and the deed has been executed later. Deed has been executed later. Payment should not be made on retrospective basis. Retrospective basis. The payment panna kudadu. So in the question எடுத்துக்கிட்டீங்க அப்படின்னா பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் பிசினஸ் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க 1/4/2019 ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. பட் டீட் வந்து என்னது 1/8 ஆகஸ்ட் மாசம் தான் டீட் வந்து எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்றாங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ பட் த அலவன்ஸ் வந்து எங்க இருந்தா வரும்? ஆகஸ்ட் மந்த்ல தான் we have to allow. August, only from the month of August we have to allow. Only from the month of August we have to allow. Before that I cannot allow. Before that I cannot allow. Okay, before that I cannot allow. That is, there is no retrospective payments allowed. No retrospective payment is allowed. Okay, so remuneration maximum எவ்வளவு தான் allow பண்ணனும்? Remuneration maximum எவ்வளவு தான் allow பண்ணனும்? If my book profitல வந்து எவ்வளவு? book profitல வந்து என்னது? For the first 3 lakh it should be 2 lakh, it should be rupees 1,50,000 or 90%, whichever is higher. And on the balance profit it is 60% of the balance profit. 60% of the balance profit. So and then what is my allowance? Partnership, sorry, remuneration எவ்வளவு தான் allow பண்ணனும்? Remuneration எவ்வளவு தான் allow பண்ணனும்? On first 3 lakh. On first 3 lakh it should be 90% of profit. 90% of profit. 90% of profit or 1,50,000, whichever is higher. On balance profit, I can claim 60% of profit. 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 So now first calculate பண்றப்ப I have to check. I have to see what is the allowable. So first வந்து என்ன பண்ணிக்கணும்? allowable remuneration எவ்வளவுன்னு சொல்லி பார்க்கணும். அதுக்கு அப்புறம் நம்ம நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து என்ன ஸ்டெப்புக்கு போவோம்? whether it is within the limit. Whether it is within the limit ன்னு சொல்லி பார்ப்போம். So allowable limit அதுக்கான சொல்லி பார்ப்போம். நான் ஒர்க்கிங் பார்ட்னர். ஸோ நான் ஒர்க்கிங் பார்ட்னருக்கு எவ்வளோ பே பண்ணுறோம்? 2 lakhs. நான் ஒர்க்கிங் பார்ட்னருக்கு 2 lakhs. ஸோ நான் allowable is 0. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் மை ஆக்சுவல் and this is my allowable. So non-working partner cannot claim anything. So non-working partner cannot claim anything. Okay. So non-working and one working partner, first working partner ke evlo? First working partner. So first working partner I have paid 5,40,000, and for the second working partner I have paid 2,50,000. I have paid 2,50,000. So nama first day பார்த்த மாதிரி தான் பார்ட்னர்ஷிப் டீட் வந்து ரெட்ராஸ்பெக்டிவ் பேமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் அலோவ் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ரெட்ராஸ்பெக்டிவ் பேமெண்ட்ஸ்லாம் அலோவ் பண்ணாங்க. திஸ் இஸ் ஃபார் 12 months. This is for 12 months. ஸோ அலோவபிள் பீரியட் எவ்வளவு? திஸ் இஸ் அலோவபிள் பீரியட் வந்து எவ்வளவு? 1/8ல இருந்தா 1/8ல இருந்தா that is from August. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. January, February and March. So I can claim for 8 months. I can claim only for 8 months. So this is for 12 months. This is for 12 months. So I can claim only for 8 months. So if this is for 12 months, what is for 8 months? What is for 8 months? It is only 3,60,000. And similarly, if this is for 12 months and for 8 months, it will be 1,66,666. So total allowable. Remuneration is total allowable remuneration is 3,60,000 plus 1,66,600, which is 5,26,666. 5,26,666 is the allowable remuneration. We have to, next step we have to check whether it is within the limit. So what is our condition? First condition is on first 3 lakh it should be 90% of profit or 2,70,000. So what is our total profit? Our total profit is 9 lakh. Our total profit is 9 lakh. Our total profit is 9 lakhs. Our total profit is 9 lakh. So on first 3 lakh, 90% on 3 lakh. 90% on 3 lakh is 2,70,000. On first 3 lakh profit, 90% 2 lakh, and another limit is 1,50,000. So whichever is higher, so the higher amount is 2,70,000. 2,70,000. On the balance profit, it is 6 lakh. So balance profit, so first 3 lakh inga poichu, balance evlo profit irukku? 6 lakh. Balance profit is 6 lakh. So on 6 lakh, it should be 60%. On 6 lakh it should be 60%, which is 3,60,000. Which is 3,60,000. So 2,70,000 plus 3,60,000, which is 6 lakh. So my limit is 6,30,000. My limit is 6,30,000, and it is well within the limit. So it is well within the limit. So I can allow 5,26,666 rupees. 5,26,626. So this is about remuneration. This is about remuneration. Our next is interest. So interest on the euro percentage 12%. Interest on the euro 12% தான் allowable. So interest வந்து எவ்வளோ பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க 15% allow பண்ணிருக்காங்க, பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க 15% பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க 15% பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க. So if எவ்வளோ பே பண்ணிருக்காங்க 3,50,000 that too for the entire 12 months. That too for the entire 12 months. So if this is for 12 months, what is for 8 months? For 8 months it is only 2,33,333. 2,33 is for 8 months. Interest at 15% is 2,33,333. 2,33,333. So if it is 15%, இது வந்து எவ்வளவு 15%. நமக்கு allowable எவ்வளவு நமக்கு allowable only 12%. நமக்கு allowable வந்து எவ்வளவு only 12%. If it is 15%, what is 12%? It is 1,86,666. 1,86,666. So if I add both this, 7,13,333. 7 lakh option B, 7,13,300. 7,13,000. So we have just rounded off. 33 rupees have been just rounded off. So the answer is option B, 7,13,300. Okay. So namakku vandu enadhu, first we have to check whether the entire is allowable. So allowable ah eppadi pandrathu, partnership deed potha paragku dhaan remuneration is allowed. Before the date of partnership deed, whatever remuneration paid, whatever the interest paid is not allowable, and remuneration to non-working partner is not allowable. So இதெல்லாம் நம்ம calculate பண்ண பிறகு interest should not exceed 12 lakhs and remuneration should not exceed the limit. That is, on first 3 lakh it is 90% of the 3 lakh or rupees 1,50,000, whichever is higher, and for the balance amount it is 60% of the profit. For the balance amount is 60% of the profit. Okay. So the answer is 7,13,300. Option B. So next question. In financial year 18-19, Irfan opted for presumptive taxation scheme under section 44 ADA. In financial year 19-20, he claimed that his profit are lower than the profit deemed to be his income under section 44 ADA. Total income chargeable to tax in financial year 19-20 is rupees 2,10,000. Whether audit under section 44 ADA is required. So section 44 ADA the audit நிறைய situation இருக்கு, turnover limit, gross receipts limit. So in case section 44 ADA or 44 AD, so 44 AD or 44 AD, it is presumptive taxation, which is 8% of my turnover or 6% or 50% of my gross receipt. So under case, if I am eligible for claiming that presumptive taxation and I am not done that, since because my total income is less, compared to the income which is calculated under section 44 AD or 44 AD. 44 AD la 50% I claim, 50% is my profit. 50% is my profit. Otherwise, if my total income is less, I will be going for the lesser income. So in that case, I am subject to tax audit under section 44 AB only if my total income is more than the basic exemption limit. Only if my total income is more than my basic exemption limit. So Irfan is an individual. And his basic exemption limit is 2,10,000. 2,50,000. 2,50,000 is his basic exemption limit. In this case, the exemption limit is only 2,10,000. So he is not subject to tax audit. If his total income has come above 2,50,000, he will be subject to tax audit. So 44 AD la irundhathu எனக்கு வந்து என்னது profit கம்மியா இருக்குன்னு சொல்லி I am declaring a lesser profit. I am subject to tax audit only if my total income exceeds the basic exemption limit. So in this case, there is no requirement. So option B, no, is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. Mr. A, government employee retired from service. On retirement, he was paid gratuity of rupees 15 lakh. The amount of exemption to Mr. Arun is nil. Rupees 7,50,000, rupees 15 lakh, rupees 10 lakh. So So government employee, if he receives gratuity, the entire amount is exempt. The entire amount is exempt. So the exemption is rupees 15 lakh. The exemption is rupees 15 lakhs. So answer is not option A, it is option C. It is option C. It is not option A. It is option C. Rupees 15 lakh is the correct answer. 15 lakh is the correct answer. Mr. Grace, a non-government employee, received uncomputed pension on rupees 3 lakh during 1920. He received gratuity on 1/4/2017. The amount of exemption. So commuted pension, uncommuted pension rendu irukku. Only if I am earning commuted pension, I will earn some exemption. If I am earning uncomputed pension, it is fully taxable. So the amount of exemption is 0. The amount of exemption is nil. Option B, nil. Okay. Only commuted pension na exemption. Only commuted pension na exemption. In case of government employees, it is fully exempt. In case of other than government employees, then the situation is okay. If I am receiving gratuity, I am not receiving gratuity. If I am receiving gratuity, 1/3 is exempt. If I am not receiving gratuity, 50% is exempt. 50% is exempt. Okay. So option B, since it is uncomputed, entire is taxable. So the exemption is nil. Option B. The maximum amount of exemption in case of VRS. VRS la maximum evlo exemption? 5 lakhs. The maximum exemption limit is 5 lakhs. So maximum exemption limit mottame 3 limit 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh. Gratuity it is 10 lakh. VRS and leave and retrenchment compensation it is 5 lakh. And in case of leave encashment it is 3 lakh. Okay, so 3 da. So VRS is 5 lakh. VRS and retrenchment compensation it is 5 lakh. So option B, 5 lakh is the correct answer. So while calculating the exemption and the gratuity, the term salary includes. Salary includes basic plus DA plus turnover based commission. Option C, basic plus DA plus turnover based commission. So all situation, most of all situation, it is basic plus DA plus turnover based commission for gratuity, for VRS, for retrenchment compensation, for HRA. So it basic plus DA plus turnover based commission. Okay. So option C is the correct answer. Mr. Kemp, a marketing manager, uses car owned by his employer for both personal and official purpose. For the entire, all the running maintenance expenses are borne by Mr. Kemp. Mr. Kemp, while computing the income, calculate the value of purchases related to car if the cubic capacity of the car is 1800. So then the situation is car. In the situation, car is owned by the employee. Employee car I will be using. Employee car I will be using. I am using both for personal and official purpose. Personal and official purpose. So when the situation I will be having two situation. My one situation is expenses will be borne by the employee. Expenses will be borne by the employee. Or expenses will be borne by the employer. So it's borne by the employee. So employee car capacity, car or cubic capacity. If the car or cubic capacity is less than 1600 cc ki kammiya irundhuchna, what is my value of purchase? It is 600 per month. If it is greater than 1600, it is 900 per month. So if it is borne by the employer, so the and if the car capacity is less than 1600, so the value of purchase it is 1600 per month. If it is greater than 1600, it is 2400 per month. So number situation the expenses are borne by the employee. Because Mr. Kemp bears all the expenses. Okay. So and the capacity is, and the cubic capacity is 1800. The CC is 1800, which is about 1600. So what is my rate? It is 900 per month. So 900 into 12. So 10,800. So the answer is option A, 10,800. So answer is option A, 10,800. Okay. So here is also a mistake. So answer is not option B. This option A. This option A, 10,800. It is option A, 10,800. Not option B. Okay. ஸோ இந்த செஷன் நம்ம இப்போ கொஞ்சம் MCQs டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணோம். இந்த MCQவோட கொஸ்டினும் it is attached in this video description. இந்த MCQ கொஸ்டினோட லிங்க்கும் வந்து இந்த வீடியோ டிஸ்கிரிப்ஷனில் அட்டாச் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க. So you can just download it and go through the question and the questions or the solutions I have discussed. So we will come upon with some other questions in our next video session. Thank you so much. Stay safe inside the house. Don't go outside. Thank you.